Do you see yourself as a citizen of the U.S.?
I mean, like, yeah, but at the same time, no.
I feel like it's a love and hate relationship.
Yeah? How
like,
so?
We have the benefits, but we don't have a word in the whole situation. And it's more like, if you ask someone from Puerto Rico, where are they from? They're not going to say America, like United States. They're going to say Puerto Rico.
Yeah, like if Puerto Rico was the 51st state, they would have had hurricane assistance immediately, right? And y'all were just kind of like, yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it.
Being able to use my vote in, Congress and Senate and stuff, and making sure my voice is heard on that level and advocating for Puerto Rican status on that level is something that I do because they can't on the island. And I feel as though it's my duty, and it's the 6 million other Puerto Ricans' duties, to spread that advocacy.
What's the current conversation in peopling your sort of surroundings?
I think personally, I would like to stay a territory, but at the same time,
Let's talk. I want to talk to the three of you from La Isla, okay? First, I have a question for you. What's it like to be a U.S. citizen and not have all the rights of a U.S. citizen?
I mean, it's low-key great, I guess, but not at the same time. It's good to, have our own, government, but at the same time, there are, laws and stuff that the United States decide that can affect us. So, and we don't have a decision in it. So, yeah.
Like when you were in need of hurricane aid, 8 years ago. I forget which hurricane that was.
Hurricane Maria.
Yeah. And we weren't sending aid down. Do you see yourself as a citizen of the U.S.?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so?
Because we have benefits from the U.S. Sometimes they give us stuff and things, but we don't have a voice. So.
But when you think about your citizenship, for me, I'm a citizen of the U.S. I mean, it's just the U.S. is the U.S. These 50 states, 50, not 51, right? 50 states. I never think about Puerto Rico, all right? I never think about PR, right? It's just not part of it. I'm a citizen of the U.S. Do you have that, or are you a citizen? I know I'm a citizen of Puerto Rico, which is also the U.S. It's do you do that kind of thing?
I feel like it's a love and hate relationship.
Yeah? How so?
We have the benefits, but we don't have a word in the whole situation. And it's more like, if you ask someone from Puerto Rico, where are they from? They're not going to say America, like United States. They're going to say Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It really depends on generations, too.
Yeah. How so? What is?
I don't know. I feel like our grandparents are not, I would say, as proud to be related to the United States. And we have kind of, I don't know. It's weird.
No.
The love and hate relationship.
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually really interesting. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation, because it's so complicated. In me, there's no other nation of all the Hispanic countries. And again, even calling Puerto Rico a country, it's wait, hang on. No, you're not a country, because you're a commonwealth. You're a territory. You're not a country. But you are a country. It's as someone who's been thinking about this for a long, long time, it's complicated. What are you anyway? So that's the question. Angelis, how about you? How do you think about this? Are you would you say yeah, I'm a citizen of the U.S.?
No. I would just say I'm from Puerto Rico. If someone asked, I guess it's just that we see ourselves as an independent country, but we're not.
Yeah.
Because you can see the Olympics, Puerto Rico has a spot. It's not it's part of the United States. So it's like we are part of the United States, but we're really not.
So when you think about the U.S., the three of you, how often do you think about the six? Oh, by the way, I didn't say, there's about 6 million people of Puerto Rican ancestry in the mainland here of the U.S., and there's about 3 million on the island. Okay? It's easy. It's less than 3 million, but just imagine, like there's twice as many here. Okay? How often do you think about the 6 million Puerto Ricans on the mainland? Like your three classmates here. When you think about Puerto Ricans, how often are they included in your mind?
Kind of never.
I was gonna, the way you were looking, I was gonna say the answer is never.
I mean, kind of like the only like part we consider that are part like of Puerto Rico, kind of, it's Florida, because we'd say it's like, oh, like if you're moving to Florida, you're moving to a second like Puerto Rico, because there's a lot of people there, but not really.
So for you, it's yeah. I mean, not that you should, right? Because this would be like people in Ireland who are thinking about all the Irish Americans when they're thinking about who's Ireland. You know what I mean? Why are they thinking about that? But of course, Ireland is not a Commonwealth, and Puerto Rico is. But like, do you ever think about the 6 million compatriots?
No.
Yeah. Same with you. It's just not part
never.
of it. Uh-huh.
I mean, I have a cousin. She's Puerto Rican. She was raised in the States, but I don't know. I feel like I may think about her as a Puerto Rican because I know she was raised like really Puerto Rican.
Okay.
But sometimes I feel like people can be like half Puerto Rican and say they're Puerto Rican, but they don't know anything about the island.
Okay. All right.
So it's like, so you're not.
So with your cousin, you know your cousin does, and so when you think about your cousin, you think like, okay, Puerto Rican. Yeah. Hey, can you tell the class what that word is, by the way?
The original name of the island, the Taino name.
Yeah, like the Taino. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's spelled a couple different ways, right?
Borinquen, it can be with a K instead of the Q and the U.
Yeah, Borinquen.
Borinquen.
Boricua. Hey, okay, so I have a question for then. We're going to call it Las de la Isla y los mainlanders, okay? How often do the three of you think about Puerto Rico and think about the selected rights of people in Puerto Rico? Like that they're citizens but not full citizens?
I think about it a lot because I have a bunch of family over there. My grandparents live over there. I visit at least 3 times a year, more than that. And it's something I care about a lot because I hold being Puerto Rican very close to who I am and my identity. So I think it's very important for me to be educated.
Is it talked about a lot? Is this something that's talked about in the Puerto Rican communities that you're in? Like the status of Puerto Rico?
I would say so, especially because I feel like a lot of us mainlanders, like we try to cling on to like certain aspects of our culture, especially music, and Bad Bunny's like a big artist. And he like talks a lot about that stuff too, so I think him having that platform especially exposes us to that stuff.
Yeah, okay. How about Mia, how about you?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, how often do you think about Puerto Ricans and like the kind of citizens but not full rights and that kind of stuff?
I mean, like, medium, because I think about it since I wonder myself, like, because I am a citizen fully. It's just I have backgrounds from Puerto Rico. And so I think about, like, when my family comes from Puerto Rico, like, what do they consider themselves, like you guys were talking about? And so, and I also I worry about like the issues that are going on and like how they're treated. Like you brought up the hurricane. I remember my parents telling me about my family back there, and like just how unfair it was that they weren't being treated equally just because they're not considered like a state. So I think about it like a good amount, but not like all the time.
Yeah, like if Puerto Rico was the 51st state, they would have had hurricane assistance immediately, right? And y'all were just kind of like, yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it. Yeah, and it was really devastating, right? I mean, it was. Do the three of you remember that? You were young at that point, right? Noah, do you have anything to add to this? And then I have another question.
Well, just to bounce off of what Mia said, like using the voice that I have as a mainlander American, well, you know, somebody who lives on the mainland who identifies as Puerto Rican, being able to use my vote in, you know, Congress and Senate and stuff, and making sure my voice is heard on that level and advocating for Puerto Rican status on that level is something that I do because they can't on the island. And I feel as though it's my duty, and it's the 6 million other Puerto Ricans' duties, to spread that advocacy, the advocacy that they can't spread for themselves, because like we said, they're elected one non-voting representative.
Yeah.
I can elect 2 voting representatives, if not more, you know. So, you know, I feel as though it's a duty of me as a mainland Puerto Rican to assist those on the islands.
Got you. To be a voice, right? Hey, that's cool. Can you go to the question that we had from the stream? This is actually a really good question. So Del from Spain is watching, the true motherland. That's why you're speaking Spanish, right? So if Puerto Rico had the opportunity to choose, what would you prefer? What's your gut? Can you say something about this? Like, what's the current conversation in people in your sort of surroundings?
I think personally, I would like to stay a territory, but at the same time, since elections are happening like soon, there's been a lot of like talk in Puerto Rico and like with really young people our age from Puerto Rico that like we have all these years we've only been like 2 political parties. That's like the Democratic part kind of, and like the one that wants like to stay territory, and the other one that wants statehood. And there's always been back and forth on them. So we've only had like the option of that. And there's a lot of corruption in the country. And now, since many young people can vote, there's been like a new vision of independence, but not like maybe independence instead of like maybe like the political party of independence.
Got you. Yeah, because the true independence movement is it's fell asleep at some point. So the young people, you're not, like among your friends and stuff, people don't talk about independence?
I feel like deep in everyone's heart in Puerto Rico, we want independence because we want our own name. But at the same time, it's not realistic. We don't have the resources. We don't have the money. We don't have basically anything. We depend right now on the whole politics with the United States. So I don't think it would be really realistic, but I feel like it's what everyone's hoping on the long run.
Something.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Del is saying, like, join Spain. You could be an official autonomous community. You got all the EU benefits, man. You already speak the language. Like, damn. Well, you're not really, because Puerto Rican Spanish, it's its own world. And Spanish is its own world, you know. Yeah. What do people in the mainland talk about, by the way?
People on the mainland, from what I hear, want statehood, but me specifically, I believe that independence for Puerto Rico is what they need. And
independence mean like full independence?
Full independence. And I say this because since we've been a colony under the United States, there have been many things that have hindered Puerto Rico from achieving the next status.
Yeah.
For example, the Jones Act, which exclusively means that we can only ship from the United States of America.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico, the name in English means rich port.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a hub for international shipping. And we have not been able to do that ever since our conceptualization because of that. And I feel like if we were to be independent and if we were to get rid of things like promesa and all that, we could prosper as a nation, but we can't do that because of all the hindrances of America and what America has placed on us.
All right, listen, man. This is a nice jump. I hear that. Yeah, people don't really understand, like, a lot of times people really don't understand like how much Puerto Rico has lived under the boot of the U.S., man. But let me. I want to go in a slightly different direction here with that. When you say, because you're saying we, right? Like, when you identify as Puerto Rican. The 3 of you identify as Puerto Rican, right? What are you identifying with? What specifically are you identifying with? Because, you're here in the mainland, right? You're not there. Like, what do you, when you say, I'm Puerto Rican, what does that mean for you?
For me, well, when I was back in Florida, I would just say I'm Puerto Rican because everyone there is Hispanic. So it's like either you're Puerto Rican, you're Colombian. Like, they just want to know where your family's from. But I still identify as Puerto Rican, especially up here, because I know, like, when people look at me, they know I'm not, like, white. Like, they don't know what I am. And I want people to know, like, what my history is and my background. Even though I don't know, like, the culture and, like, the island culture. I wouldn't say I'm, like, a Puerto Rican, but I do say I am Puerto Rican. Does that make sense?
I am Puerto Rican, and my ancestry, and say the same way that I would say I'm like British or something. Yeah.
I would say it's my culture. It's what I was socialized with at home. My parents were born here, but for some time in their life, they also lived in Puerto Rico. My mom, like, her first language was Spanish too, so it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm kind of like, we're not like first gen, but like at the same time, I think it's like a weird dynamic because they did live in Puerto Rico for some time. So I don't know, like I was raised as a Puerto Rican child. I don't think I was raised with like American values. Like